Okay, I'm hitting record. We'll go to the focus camera. So here it is. Okay, first up, I'm about to release Grandma Reloaded. What an amazing username. Also new to the server, so welcome to the server. I'm going to just give you that community tag. And you're saying, I'm about to release a character on my portfolio. If you could give me any tips on how to present or improve the render, I'd love it. I would give this character a background. The hair looks pretty good. I think when I look at the hair, that's what's kind of sticking out to me the most is the dithering effect that's happening here. I will answer that right after this one, Casey. That looks like an interesting question. So, looking at this character, it looks really cool. The attention to detail is really nice. The hair throws me off a bit with the way that it's dithering. I would see if you can clean that out so that it's much straighter or cleaner. Because right now it just looks like a weird. It looks like a bug, right? Yeah, but like right here, for example, it really breaks down. So uh, I would definitely look at that and see what can be done about it. Other than that, materials look pretty good. Everything's quite clean. Maybe a little bit more of a dirty pass on there. But as far as presentation goes, showing wireframes, how you're approaching your hair, how you're like giving us render passes to show us like how your roughness looks, how your skin shader behaves. Uh, Visual, what's up, man? And just kind of showing honestly everything. If there's a wireframe you can show, that would be really good. Um, if there's a back to the character. The other thing that I would really highlight is the fact that right now your background is black, and I think getting something back there. Oh, the dithering's on the mustache too. Oh yeah, yeah. I think it must be the way you're approaching hair currently. Um, Overall, though, the rest looks quite good, and it's really about getting an environment that kind of portrays the scene around the character, even if it's just really blurred out. Getting something in there, so it's not just a black background, it will be key. And you can see there's like in your lighting, you've got like a warm light here and a cooler light here. If that can be reflected in whatever's blurred in the background, that would be really nice. Like say this is rendering in Unreal, for example. Just getting an environment that you can blur out would be huge. I mean, even with Megascans, you could probably build something that's quite like on point with the brand, and it doesn't have to be in focus. It just grounds the character. It helps frame the character a lot better. But yeah, hopefully that's helpful. And again, like I would say, the weakest part right now is the way the hair is being rendered. I would look into some other approaches. If you're not sure how to fix that, or like you have questions about it, we have a art discussion channel as well as a tech discussion. If you want to talk shaders and kind of break down how to do hair, because I'm assuming it's just the way it's being rendered. It looks like the materials are pretty good, and it's just the dithering that's causing that problem. Um, hey, thank you for that follow. Okay, so KC had a question in chat. You've been a part of the games industry and art for a long time now. How come you keep working on personal projects? Is it the channel that plays a part? So, or is it just in you more than maybe others? So I always want to be getting better or at least exploring 3D because I feel like that gives you an understanding even if you're not actually producing content. With me being a lead now, right? I don't do that also much these days. So it's like, okay, what do I do now? And of course, that started before I was streaming started before I was a lead as well. The goal of streaming initially was to get better at being an artist, but also be able to answer questions. 27 months, curious, that's crazy. Thank you very much. The goal was to not only get better at things that I'm not comfortable with, but also to answer questions about very common knowledge things that tend to either be a myth or like people are getting the wrong information or just really the really simple stuff. And I really like teaching or discussing topics that help others and myself learn. So I just naturally just kept doing it. Um, Before I was doing the Empire, I was doing StarCraft, and so I was actually doing like learning StarCraft. So there, it's kind of been in my blood from the beginning. And when I was in college, I was also teaching to some degree. Like we didn't have ZBrush, but I got the school to install it, even though they weren't teaching it. And then I learned it, and then anyone that was around me figured out how to use it, and Polycount, of course, as you do. Um, but yeah, let me go to the Blocktober section, or not Blocktober. Hang on here, the Dintober section, because our next post is actually from Nicholas. I just want to grab his recent. He's got a test render here. Yeah, hopefully I answered your question, Casey. I think I'm gonna try and get my earphones now. Let's see. Let's see how they're doing. Don't you also connect with? That's so suspicious. So I definitely connect with loads of artists and groups on socials, and that's just that happens naturally. So you don't even have to try as long as you're sticking your head out there. Like you're gonna talk to people. You know what I mean? Oh, you're gonna wait visual. All right, cool. Let's, let's see how this is. 40%. All right, I can ride that. I can ride that wave. Okay, so let's really dive in now. Yeah, so this is from the show. Great cartoon, by the way, Courage the Cowardly Dog. So I don't have reference for this though. Let me see if I can. Did I just download that page? Castle, what's up, man? Hello there. Okay, I think I found it. Oh, whoops, that's not the button to click. Open a new window. No, I don't want to go to Pinterest. I just want to see the image. Show me the image. Okay, so this is a bit low res. Um, why is why did I what? Why is it downloading it? I'm so confused now because now it's like going to different scenes as well now too. Okay, well I'm gonna just reopen it. Do you see this? Hang on here. Okay, well it's in here now. Uh, cool. So that's super strange that it's downloading it. Um, like really weird. Anyways, this is super low res, but I think it gets the idea across. And I think what we need to be looking at is how to skew your building a bit further. I know you've already like taken a lot of time in building your roof and the structure of the building. Oh, nice, Casey. Um, yeah. So when you look at this building and you look at this one, you can see there's of course it's 2D, right? So it's going to be a this forced like perspective and skewing. But I would exaggerate that in your scene. Make your building longer. Squeeze the mid part of it so that the roof slopes down even further in the middle point, and really like kind of exaggerate those shapes. Like right now in the front here, it's very flat. Like this triangular point. Maybe this point can come out further than these points. And same on this, you'll really see it back here. So like if I just grab this, let me just make sure this is going to paste okay. Yeah, cool. So if I grab this and we just look at the, oh man, there we go. When we just look at the shape of the roof, you can see that. So these lines are relatively straight, and I think if this were to come out further and then like just curve, you know, connect back to here, and this was to come out further and then curve back, you'll get these like really nice, interesting shapes that naturally just start to look more like the cartoon in the way that it skews and bends, because a lot of it just comes down to that character, and it's one of those attributes that like you have to replicate in order to nail the style. So the style is very elongated, skewed, and curvy shapes, and that's what makes that building look the way that it does. Let me make sure I don't burn my face off here. Oh yeah, that's ladies and gentlemen, you've just seen me take a sip of tea for the first time. It's pretty tasty. No, I've had tea before, but man, it's been ages. But yeah, I mean, when you look at what's here, it's very straight right now, and that makes it feel 3D. You know what I mean? You get these very straight lines, and it's taking those and exaggerating them. That's really gonna do the trick. Um, if we look at the style here as well, the windows are narrower at the bottom and wider at the top. There's a curve in the top here. This could be exaggerated, like like a lot. Like droop that like no one's business. Instead of this coming straight out, why not fan it out? You know, and then really kind of lean into those curves. You can see even here. Oh, you probably can't see my. I don't know if you can see my mouse here. No, you can't. Here in the building, I'll just do it with this. So here in the building, you can see it's even curved here. So there's those things to do. You've actually changed the um, windmill, so it's much thicker, and I think that's okay. And compositionally, it's quite a bit more interesting, like being in the back there. I do like it on the side, but I think it would have to be much thinner than what you're doing now. So I think you're taking some liberties when it comes to like the design, um, and pushing the difference there. I know you also took a lot of time and pushed the vehicle much further. Is there what's in the front there? It looks like there's is that just a porch with the chair? There's supposed to be a chair out here, right? But yeah, it should be like you're saying in chat suspicious. It should be noted that you are skewing the windows, which is nice. It's just really pushing outside of like these straight edges we usually see in 3D, and just skewing the hell out of it. I would suggest doing a soft select. I don't know if you're using like Maya or Max or whatnot, but you could do a soft select so you're only selecting like this area, and then just pull on that, and you'll get those skews and those curves and bends. Add some more geo in here if you need to, and then when you take this spot and pull it down, you'll get those nice curves as well. Same with the back if you pull it out this way. Like really just lean into it. Uh, Detail wise, I think I would actually thin these out a bit more, just because right now they draw so much attention. I do like the color of it though. It's keeping it in the back but still part of the scene. And I think for the ground, it's such a simple scene in the cartoon that if you can find a good tileable dirt ground, I would just commit to the plane. and just have it in the nighttime. Like do the nighttime scene that you usually will see where things get really creepy and scary. Zonkman, how you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, it's we're weirdos for sure. It's okay though. But yeah, super cool. Hopefully that was what you were looking for. Um, let me just scroll up here. Feedback wise. Oh man, those eyes. I gotta say, those eyes are pretty cool. Oh, I see it in the eyebrows too. We have a little bit of the dithering problem as well. Those eyes are sick though. Maybe the eyes feel a little close together to you. I feel like maybe they could be a little bit further left and right. Anywho, so this one's from Martin. So this one we're looking at is, hey, didn't I continue working on this based off your feedback you gave a while ago? I tried to make the cracks on the left stone thinner. Not sure if I should make them even thinner. So it's not just about the thickness of the cracks. So if you look on the left side here, it's also where they're at and the consistency of them. Because like cracks, like the way these are cracked, looks like they're taking like blunt force from like multiple directions, but somehow holding their shape. The cracks usually will follow the angle of the striation in the stone, or how that type of rock fractures. So I would find the reference for the type of rock you're trying to do. Like this one, for example, this one's pretty good. The cracks aren't so noticeable. And then the biggest ones are the ones that are kind of shaping it. Whereas these ones feel much more stylized. And it's almost like you don't want to draw attention to them in their crevices and just let the overall material and the normals tell you that there's a crack there. Like you could try also removing it in the albedo and just see like the crevice dark area inside. Removing that in the albedo and seeing how that looks and feels. This tower looks sick though. Really digging that. Other than that, I would like to hear your thoughts on what could be improved and if anything weird stands out. Thank you so much in advance. The scene is really taking me a while. It's okay. A really good, like, large scene does not happen overnight. It doesn't even happen in a month, usually. You have to really, unless you know and understand your own workflows, you're not trying to learn something new and you're just executing, it takes a while. And that's totally all right. So this scene is really taking me a while, and as time goes on, the more I seem to think that this environment isn't good, worth enough to land on my portfolio. I think this will be a great piece on your portfolio. What I'm seeing is this building, this wall here, this rock formation and the way it looks and feels, and this tower and this bell. Like, because I've seen where those are at, once everything has gotten up to that quality and you're just working on composition, I know this is going to be like the next hotness of your portfolio. This will be like the next stage of you know what I mean? The 2.0 of Martin. So it's just a matter of like tackling it as you go. I know you're focusing on the rock right now. Let me finish your message before I go on my tangent. For some reason, I have these thoughts all the time. If I work on a project for a longer time, these critique streams are really helpful, helping me identify what I could improve. Okay, cool. Yeah, so like I was saying, you're to that point where, like, if you feel like you're not sure on these rocks, like, focus on this building. This building looks like it's hit, like, so this is, I would say this is at the point where you're in polish phase and you could polish these areas up, which means you should not be touching these anymore. Same with this tower, same with the bell, maybe even this wall. I would get this to this level, work on this area, get it to this level, and then come back to this rock stuff after you've tackled this, because this is going to be a whole other adventure, you know what I mean? And don't hesitate to use existing rocks here. It doesn't have to be this terrain. You can smash it in you know, and get the terrain on top of it after. Smash it in with other rocks that you're working on. But yeah, there's a number of things that I think you're going to want to solve. One thing that I'm not feeling too much right now is the understanding of scale. Exile, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Yeah, I'm not getting a good sense of scale. Where is that window? Stats. Oh, there we go. Where can this go? There we go. But yeah, so stats aren't bad. Shokri, how you doing, man? Good to see you. But I think focusing on the areas that need to get up to the rest of everything else is what I would tackle next. Those bricks, what about them? What about these bricks? They look yeah. Oh, they're huge. Yeah, when you look at the scale. I mean, that is a very good point, because that's the thing that kind of confuses your mind, right? If they were a different color or they varied in size more, I think it could help, like, with the understanding of the scale. But I'm curious how you made these bricks, because that could be difficult to scale them down at this point. Yeah, a brick right now looks like it's about the size of a forearm. So there's those scale elements that you need to be thinking about as well. But yeah, hopefully that helps out. And I would focus on this stuff and this guy in the back here, and come back to these once you've had a breather. You can, like, look at other things and feel the progress. You know what I mean? You manually place them in ZBrush. That was painful. I try to scale them down. I believe in you. The scale of these, if that's going to be pretty painful, again, I would go over here and use other things that are easy to kind of work on or easy to progress on as an opportunity to take breathers from the areas that are really, like, fine detail that you need to focus down over time. Bangarang, how you doing? Yeah, man. When I see Bangarang, it makes me think of Skrillex. That was a good time. I worked on some Skrillex stuff in the past. Oh my gosh! Every time the eyes. Okay. Yes. Yes. Did I not? Oh, yeah. Okay. I did not open this. So we have this one here. I'm just gonna bring this over. We'll just play this. Man, that movement of the door is so nice. That's so nice. I want to actually look at the... Okay, so you got camera coming in, panning up. No speed changes, which is really nice. No speed changes, panning, left panning again, and pulling back, also kind of a little bit of right panning as you pull away. So framing wise, that's really good. Let's freeze here. Overall, this is looking really nice. I would say you're hitting polish stage. You're in polish mode now. So there's when we hit polish mode, or polish stage rather. Let me just grab this here. Sorry if I don't grab the entire frame. Just gonna put this over here. Going to the Photoshops, Photopoo. I'm gonna zoom out here and just kind of look at this frame for a little bit. So when we're looking at this, after polish mode is Swedish mode. I'll take it. So you're in a state now where I would like to understand the logic of the ivy a little bit more. Like, this feels a bit disconnected, so giving it just a little bit more structure. So it's got some more volume to it. understanding where all of this is coming from, giving it a spawn point, right? Because it all grows from somewhere. Like if this is growing from up above, that means it spawned somewhere way up high, and it's kind of bleeding into the space. Here you can see like these leaves feel quite similar in size to these ones, even though they're a little bit closer. I think you could possibly bring, like maybe with the camera, bring this this whole side a little bit closer. Maybe you can't, because now I see how it's all connected. Either way, the ivy or the leaves feel very similar in size, so you kind of lose that sense of like how much of a like scale or depth understanding of what's happening there. The other thing is right now, at least from the way that the ivy was rendering, of course, pardon me for taking a screenshot of the video, so it's kind of a little pixelated. The ivy feels very flat, but the alphas are good. I think what you would need to do is in the pieces that you've made, because I'm assuming you're placing the pieces like you have a kit of ivy, and then you're placing them to kind of like figure out where they go against the walls and how you climb up the wall or go over a thing and come down. In that kit, like let's say you've got a piece that does this, and you've got a smaller piece that's quite long, and then maybe you've got, like if we look from the top down, you've got a piece that's kind of curved. They're unfortunately Megascan objects, and I use a foliage brush to place them. That explains a whole lot, Vince. So they don't look intentionally placed. Yeah, I would say hand play. So what you can do in the foliage brush is you could spray them down like that, and then just grab them in the foliage editor, and you can manipulate them manually that way. So you can do the tweaking and adjustments afterwards. But right now they feel like, even this, like this feels flat to me. Like this might as well be a card, right? So if you can, I would go in and author some that if it's growing upwards, author some little pieces that kind of come out away from it and give you that volume. Yeah, you can adjust individually afterwards. There's a move tool that's not the brush. So if you can add like individual pieces that are going upwards, when it's growing upwards, that will help a lot. Same with this, like say these are growing down, getting ones that kind of wisp out and come towards the camera or off of the plane will get that illusion. You need that volume and depth, fakery, in order to really like sell the lushness of it. The only other things I wanted to comment on, so down here it's supposed to be pretty wet. I think really exaggerating, well, not exaggerating, but really pushing what is wet and what is dry. And if there's like any way to like I don't know if there's, maybe some dripping could be coming off this pipe. I know this is much closer, but if there's dripping, oh no, that kind of lines up. If there's dripping that was coming off that pipe, and you had like a wet spot here, and you can see it like trickling into little spots, that'll give you that extra little like detail, you know. And then you see it in your roughness. You see it in the albedo as well, because this is rock, it's going to become more saturated and darker in value because it's a porous material. So if we go, where are we at here? Let's see if I can. So if you imagine, like if this is wet, right? It's gonna start to build up and like really darken. I can't fake this. But it becomes more saturated, and the value goes down as well as something becomes more wet. You could create wetness decals and place it on top of the rock. That will help a lot. Yes, that is one way to do it for sure. The other thing you could do is if you want to be quick and dirty about it, I guess it's not efficient for the grand scheme of game production, but you could just make a roughness mask in Substance Painter and paint where all the dripping and all that stuff happens, and then add that inside of the shader for the rock and just apply that to the shader itself. The only other thing I wanted to mention was the doorway. I don't know where this goes or what it's doing. If there's any type of signage you could do to put numbers on there and let us know, like, oh, this is gate B. You know, is this gate B? Is it quarantined? What's the story here? Did all this stuff spill out? Is it gate B? Is it like, is there something that is supposed to be hiding inside there that is supposed to be locked away? Yeah, you're gonna do a decal pass. So this is, in my opinion, that will be, if you skip the decal pass, at least, like, if there's no time for decal pass, you need to do something with the door in order to let us know, like, what this door is. Is this bunker 37? You know, those types of things. But material wise, the door looks pretty sick, and the amount of detail I think is quite balanced with the rest of the scene. I think, let me just one more check here. The sparks are really nice as well. So right now the sparks are very, I want to look at this one here. So you see how that one goes, and it's the same size. Usually when a spark occurs, it's because it overloads, right? And it has nowhere to go, so it escapes out. It goes, so that first spark is going to shoot out quite far. I would say even all the way out here, and then quickly diminish down to like smaller sparks like you have. So it's like a burst of energy that kind of diminishes really quickly. Yeah. Yeah, some info on the door will help. I mean, even some like markings here, like, is there a warning text on here, or is like something like, don't, you know, no fire near this pipe, that type of stuff. But yeah, cool. Let's get back to Vesemir. What's up, man? How you doing? Good to see you. Still staring at me. Nice. On to Thomas. Vesemir's gonna haunt us, man. Or it's Tomas. So, Nuka-Cola, man. I saw you post this and was like, bro, this is next level, man. And the thing that I find really impressive about this is how quickly you generated this. So this goes into the hyper real territory where it's, you know, it's quite stylized, but also it fits the style of Fallout and the shape language from that time. Yeah, Tomas is slaying for sure. Trash bags look stellar as well. Where did those come from? Did you make those? I'm assuming the color has to do with I made this and everything else. Don't worry about it. Megascans. Is that the logic behind the colors? Thomas the Nuka Master. Nice. That's a great way of presenting. I love the way you've created this, because like at the end of the day, it's grounded, right? The only thing I would say is I would love to see. Let me just see here. Ooh, nice. Ooh, that padding. Oh my gosh, get out of here. So nice. Love this presentation. So every image that's in here is quite good. I feel like there's a lot of scrolling. Like maybe these two could be on one, where you've got the non-wireframe and the wireframe next to it. There's a lot of angles of the same shot. You could maybe have it next to itself, or in the scene have it next to itself and present it at different angles, or maybe like a breakdown image that shows it at different angles within context of the scene, right? Because context is really important. Now, speaking on context, the thing I wanted to highlight is, while I really like the whole presentation of it gray where it's not your content, what I do want to see as well is a image where all of it has color, because I want to see that you can, and I believe you can, but the viewer or the person judging your work for employment is going to want to see if you can consistently bring content in that's yours, put it next to other people's content like Megascans, and they look one and the same. They don't look like, oh, these are coming from different marketplaces and everything's kind of smashed together. They're actually like consistent and it all kind of sings together. You know what I mean? Which is the glory of PBR, allows you to do that much easier than in the past. But that just means it should be easier, right? But yeah, I mean, I don't have too much to add on this. I think if I had to add one thing, it's not nearly sun bleached enough. Easier, easier. Well, it should be easier as in once you've corrected it and it's correct, like accurate across the board, then you can switch lighting environments and it'll stay that way. I think that's what PBR really gave us, and nice looking metal. Um, so what I think you're actually missing is the sun bleaching. Yeah, the sun bleaching for something that would be as old as what Fallout pushes as a franchise. I feel like that whole top area should be very sun bleached, giving you that contrast. That being said, there's a bit of a style that goes on with this, and I guess the only other thing I would say is I don't know how was this all like molded in in the design, or is there supposed to be seams in here that help us understand, even though it's built this way, how it's opened? Like I see it's open from back here, but how does this part open? You know what I mean? But your execution on materials and storytelling through your surfaces is like above and beyond. It was hard to see. Is there reference somewhere? Supportive. Oh, look who it is. Look who it is. Awesome person alert. Oh, another awesome person alert. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm like in the way. Don't mind me. Um, yeah, awesome. Dope presentation. I don't know if that gave you all the feedback you needed. You are awesome. Thanks. Thanks a lot. All right. Stuart, look at that. Look at that. I'm like, I don't even know what to call that. I know it's a pistol. A Brigger and Tomet. Is it Tomet or Thomet? VP9 model made in Maya. What? How did I not? Did I just click the image? What is happening here? In the house. um. Yeah. Oh, look at this presentation too. So this top image. What? What is this veterinary pistol? Like a veteran, right? I've never seen. That feels strange. Anywho, someone someone's looked at some weapon presentations because this is like one of my favorite compositions for showing off weapons. I find it so cool. I wonder when they're gonna flip it upside down and then the grips are gonna be up here just to like change it up a bit, you know? Ooh, that's cool. That's really cool. It would be cool to animate it. This pistol is meant to be super quiet and is used for putting down animals. Ah, or at least that's what it was designed for. I understand now. I understand. That would likely explain the 9 millimeter as well. Um, wow. So with exploding a gun, I always find it really interesting that if you can get like the 3/4 angle and then do the explosion animated, and then orthographic to side view, and then put it back together. If you hold each of those shots where it's like, all right, here I am, and then I'm exploded, and then rotated, and then back together, and then back to this, you'll get a really nice like overall presentation. And with all that movement, you'll really see where your materials are at and your understanding of like the surface breakup. Lethal Weapon 7. This is pretty cool though. Oh wow, the little. Oh wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, when I like to put animals down that are suffering, I definitely choose this skin. That's it's or so they say. Um Swiss made as well. So this is really cool. I would say that way they don't see you coming. Oh, Vince. Um there is some roughness variation when it comes to the screws. You get a little bit of that tooth in there as well from like tightening. Euthanasia with style. Oh man. Um, but I think if there were some other elements that could pop out a bit more, that would be really nice. Like these, like the gripped pieces, getting those just a little bit more reflective would be nice. Yeah, it's a little dark, Casey. I must admit. It's okay though. It's okay. It doesn't have to be this dark. We can go with the lighter one. Does that help, Casey? Um, looks cool though. I mean, modeling wise, it looks nice. What I would love to see, I need to see wireframes. I need to see poly counts. It's here as 16K tries, which sounds like quite a lot. You're the one killing polar bears. Uh, but you see when you open it up, you get that the variation. I want some of this type of stuff on the outside. Ooh, would look good. And maybe it's there and I'm just not seeing it because like the light's not moving. You have pro status, so you could upload a 4K of like just this shot with a light shifting around. Oh man, that would look good. That would look so good. And it would help us understand a lot of the differences in your roughness between pieces. But yes, wireframes, um, showing your UVs, showing your texture maps. Like if you're looking to become like a props or a weapons artist, you can guarantee they will look for that. I've seen a lot of people at this point not get past the portfolio phase just because we're like, okay, this looks really good, but I don't know if they actually know how to make this run real time. Like I need to see how they're using their UVs. I need to see how they're utilizing their geometry. 16K is a lot, but where is it being used? Maybe that's totally fine. I don't know. You know what I mean? So making sure that that's really shown is really important. But overall, really cool presentation. You could always use something in the background. Gradients, simple gradients. You could just take the pistol and like, I'll just do it. I'm gonna do it. Did this paste? Okay, yeah, cool. I don't know if this is gonna crash Photoshop. I know in the last couple of updates when I did the smart grabbing of objects, it was crashing Photoshop. Not bad. Let's see how well that did pretty well. Okay, okay. So I'm gonna paste two of those and then delete the backdrop, and now we just have the background and the two pieces. And I'm just gonna blur this. I'm just gonna do a Gaussian blur, like a crazy Gaussian blur. Ooh, wait, maybe not yet. Let's convert to a smart object. Let's scale it up, and we'll do something like, I'm thinking compositionally. You could do something like this, right? This is kind of interesting. Maybe a little down. That's intriguing. And then have this in front. Take this. You could push this way down and go do something like this. And then take this one and maybe like do a drop shadow. Let's see here. Drop shadows are are cheesy for most, they say. I don't mind them. As long as you are subtle about it, you know? That looks sick to me, right? But like you could take that backdrop piece. Let's oh whoops. Hang on here. Let's put a Gaussian blur on that. And because I've made it a smart object, you can do that blur, and then it's here, right? And the blur stays as a filter, so it's like non-destructive. So we could turn the opacity up on this, and then even like go in and do a levels on the layer, and lower the brightness this way, and that'll be in here as well. And you can toggle that on and off. You can double click it and come back to it. Make all those adjustments. You're like, okay, maybe it's not blurred. Maybe it's blurred too much. So getting those tweaks, it's gonna be good stuff. The other thing you can do is if you duplicate this layer and you do like a let's do a Gaussian blur of, actually, smart object first. I need to like hotkey this, and then do a Gaussian blur. Hey, thank you for that follow. We do a Gaussian blur on this. You're like, but why would you do it on top of there? We do a screen, and then do a mask on top of that. Invert the mask, and then just paint where we want that really nice glow, you know. And go kind of. It's okay to go crazy with it at first. Like we could, because you can see everything's popping, right? And that's fine. Because we could go in and we could push the levels on it as well. So let's just, I'm gonna just mark these all up. That's fine. Okay. We could go in and then do a levels on this and push down the darker areas and keep the brightest points up, and see, now you've got your bloom going on. And if you need to, then you can lower the opacity of it. This is all, but wait, that's illegal. That is not illegal. That's not illegal. This is post-processing. This is exactly what would happen with post-processing, right? I know you're just messing around, Tristan. But yeah, like get the most out of your asset. You know what I mean? You can go in here, get the levels going. Like really get the range in the surfaces. And of course you don't want to crunch it too much, because then it starts to look a little fake. But there's a lot to enjoy there. This is Bloom by artist for artist. Not some tech stuff. It's not physically accurate. Ah! Head explode. Man, I need a GIF I can trigger that just shows my head exploding. Not my head, but it just looks like I just explode. It'd be awesome. Anywho, presentation, getting something in the back there, animating this stuff. Oh my gosh, if you were to animate just even a light moving around would be super nice on a material. Okay, I've gone on about this pistol enough. Really cool. Gonna give you the community tag now. And on to Jeffrey. Man, I'm looking at this. Hey, Stewie, no problem, man. Just filled 2 pages of my notebook with all that. No way, dude, that's amazing. That's so cool. Oh my gosh, 2 pages. I talk too much. So this looks pretty cool. When I see these colors, I instantly start thinking of Moto. I don't know why. It's too warm for Moto, but it just has the softness to it. I write large. Oh, okay. It's like I only wrote 4 points. It's 2 points a page. Oh man, I write full caps all the time by hand. So Jeffrey, you're saying, wait, it says Adobe next to your name. Why don't you have a green or a yellow? Why green? A yellow Dev tag. Jeffrey. Sir. When I hear Moto, I get Temple flashbacks. I kind of want to go back and just do the centerpiece for that. You know what I mean? All right, let's get like that dev tag, man. So currently working on this gun project. I want to create a faithful representation of a flintlock revolver gun. Do you have any? I wanted to say pistol. Do you have any tips on how I should approach the high details of the reference? I would especially look for organization tips, as this is my weakest skill. Organization tips. Okay, let's look at the collection link here. I'm trusting this link. Ooh, this smaller stuff here. So there's a number of ways you could do this. One of the ways, so this type of detail here, this could be done in ZBrush. You could start with a tube, a cylinder, right? Or like a spline. And then in ZBrush kind of sculpt it down so it looks all soft like that. But for these types of details, I would probably grab this image, grayscale it. Oh, curious. Good shout out. Yeah, if you work in a studio and you're in the Discord, Poke moderator, we can help you get that tag. You want to be yellow? You can be yellow. But yeah, you can see, like, I think that used to be this character as well here. But I would probably start with, if you don't want to get too tedious with it, I would start with this as a grayscale and then try and generate those shapes. There's an ArtStation learning course on that specifically. It's pulling screenshots, painting a rough height map, and then continuing your work in ZBrush. That's probably how I would do it. If that sounds crazy to you, I would, the next crazy thing is to literally grab pieces, do some very simple sculpts of them, smash them all together in ZBrush, and just make it like look like it's one. It can be done as a regular sculpt, and then with a few, then the new feature project base relief. Did they have a video? I'll test crazy. Do they have a video on that, Sal? Can you link that in chat? Because I think I could post it somewhere. Yeah, post it here. Post it, I don't know, in resources. Because there's a number of ways you can approach this. But basically, you're trying to find shortcuts to get those details quickly. And then you're just sculpting from there to support what details it kind of laid out. So it's kind of like tracing paper. This is really exciting because I like the differences in materials. You get different roughness and not just black and white mask and painter. Is sarcasm, hashtag sarcasm. Yeah, there's a number of things you could do though. It's the same for like these types of details. There's good alphas of this type of stuff. From what's his name in Japan. You recently saw an article of someone engraving on weapons. Might be worth looking at. Straight from the source. Yes. Let's copy this and put it in my personal Discord. Oh yeah, that's nice. Base relief in ZBrush 2022. Cool. Let's go back to this. So one thing, make sure to watch how sharp your bevels are. I would, for considering how old this type of weapon is, I would consider pushing your bevels wider. A favorite, that's hilarious. That's a hilarious story. Drop, how you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, I would push your bevels a little bit. And in ZBrush, I would ding them up just a little, or like softly shift them around, just so you get some more of that organicness to it. But I think the approach you're going with is pretty cool. Is it? I had another image of it as well, didn't I? Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of detail going on here. Don't be afraid to make things thicker. Um, yeah. Just looking at the. You can get these like nice wispy things with the what is it? The swirl brush. It's like the twist distort brush. Man, it's so nice. You can get a swirl this way, and then with invert, it can swirl the other way. That can help you start to get the details. This type of stuff you could probably do with a brush that lays the pattern out for you as you go. Even if it's just the lines, then you can do the squiggly in there. It doesn't have to be exact. It just has to imply that information, right? Because at the end of the day, it's pretty aged. It's pretty softened up. But yeah, let's keep going here. The posts are starting to pile up. I'm talking too much. Um, Look at this. Look at this. I'd appreciate it if you could if you checked out my car. Dude, nice car, man. Where'd you buy it? Not the 3D asset. This is real. I know it's real. So I apologize if it's a bit off topic. There's a link to download it for free if you want to check it out firsthand in a DCC. Ooh, nice. That's pretty cool. You're like, this is a photo. No, this is what tells me it's not. Is that edge right there. So there's a bit of a rendering thing going on right here. I don't know if that's the way the shader is set up. That looks like a bit of a paint Fresnel on the edge. Looks nice though. Hey Jeffrey, no problem. Thanks for the link as well in chat. Really nice. Doing great. We'll start a new gig soon. So excited. Wasn't able to catch up here that often. Dude, nice, man. It's okay. I've been sick on and off. This year's trying to beat me down. It's okay. We won't let it win. But so I'm not much of a car person, despite working on Forza. But it looks cool. It's a free 3D model as well. Now that's a reference picture. No, it's not. Oh, it caught me again. It caught me again. It's right on the edge. It's just off enough that it's hard to tell, you know what I mean? Bray, it's true. Yes, turn 10. Great studio. Oh man, there's an interior as well. Is the interior really that like simple in color? Ooh, you did a zebra test, sir. Oh my. So we've got a weekly hard surface challenge that you might be interested in. Man, this is pretty cool though. A zebra test is basically showing your flow. It's a good way to find imperfections in the way your geometry is reacting. So it's pretty sick though. I would say the thing that's kind of weirded me out is the interior being like one color. It's like what I would feel like happens once like you have a game like GTA. Once they can get to this level of fidelity, but then they're like, "Oh yeah, but we had to cut the albedo, in order to save memory." So the interior looks really good roughness wise, but like the albedo is is removed. Yes, it would be that simple. What? Get out of here. Pretty cool though. Congrats on your video card purchase, by the way, in chat. But yeah, I don't have much to add on this. I don't know much about this vehicle or what it takes to make it look exactly right. I would say in your presentation with compositing it into the scene, there's just this little edge detail. Like, see, there's a depth of field difference between here and the background here. Getting those to match as well as like the environment matching it is just, you just need that and it's going to be like that much closer. Because here it's hiding it quite well. There's a little bit of like aliasing, and here it feels artificially shaded in the how the shadows are. Like this is really dark, but then you have like this shadow looks pretty good. It probably could be a little cooler. You can see the temperature difference between these two. And then it's this ambient occlusion. You just wouldn't see that unless this car had burned in its place. And then this is like its ghost. It's a ghost car. Yeah. Super nice, though. Joe Johnson, buddy. How are you? Would love some feedback on this so far. Still to implement the Ivy changes I discussed with you. I want to add a little more life to it, just kind of struggling as to what it's missing. Right, let's open these up. You got a video as well, so we'll look at that as at the end here. So man, it's really interesting because the box you recently posted, like lighting wise, is really strong, and the way it was constructed looks really good. But the way it's lit in here, it breaks down really fast. So I wonder if it's just a matter of like really tuning the lighting to really show off the materials well, which is a bit more difficult for sure when you're building an environment. These bottles do look like metal. I think you like maybe you've got a metalness value that's up on it. I would look at uh, like a refraction shader that actually distorts what's behind it. I think that'll do a lot for you because you can get that green glass and you can still see through it, but it'll be more subtle. You know what I mean? You'll still be able to see through it, but it'll be like a darker green glass. Ramus, that's really interesting about the car. So, just to go back to this real quick. So, the interior of the car stock tends to be quite just black. Um, but yeah, let's keep looking at this. I know your barrel as well looks really good. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so from the top, the barrel feels a bit on the rugged side. But I think when it's standing up on its own, it looks good there. So like from this view, it's really nice. But when you look at it from this view, it looks like melted waxy vibes, you know, on the jaggedness of the top. So it's being really careful with like not over like hyper focusing on those details. Framus, it's pretty sick though, man. Um yeah, let's look at the so there's some scale stuff where like these bottles feel a bit small. Like this one, for example. I would see if you could figure out like the height of the size of one of these bottles. I always try and go off the metric of like actual scale. with things. Like you can skew stuff, right? But going off of real life scale can help you identify when something's too small. Like this bottle feels like it's maybe 20% too small, maybe 10%. Your ivy also looks very saturated right now. Like the albedo for it looks very saturated. And the way the shader is set up right now is causing the back sides of it to be quite dark. You'll get a bit more of a voluminous look if you can get some lighting into the backside of the faces. Is it missing GI? It does feel a bit dark. It's interesting because what I'm noticing with Lumen is these smaller details, like these really small areas where light could bounce around. It gets kind of difficult for it to get really finite in those areas, just because the resolution of the uh, the lumen pass, right? The resolution isn't all that high, just for performance ways, but I think you can turn it up. Yeah, Shokri, spot on. Like pro tip is always add a human avatar for scale. Just put the bottle or any other object in the hand of that character, and you will immediately see straight up. That helps a lot. You'll catch a lot of stuff really easily that way. Um, yeah. Let's check out this video. The video feels like it starts at a stop. So when the video starts, then the camera starts to move. I would have it move earlier than that, and then record all of that, and then trim off the starting point so that it's already in motion, if that makes sense. So the thing I like about that video, I don't think it should stop. Maybe it should actually move a quarter of the speed, like even slower. And then you see how this side gets narrower? Don't let that gap close up, and let this be like in your thirds area. And framing wise, all of us will really frame up nice. Um, and as long as it's moving slow like that, it can fade to black before it even stops moving. And when it fades to black, and then the video starts over in ArtStation, it can start over fading in, moving at the same rate. You know what I mean? So it'll loop through itself really smoothly and nicely. I think that'll look really good. And I do see the scale even more so when I look at the video. Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious on the GI part. I don't know if Joe's still in chat here. Nice. Couldn't fix in Blender Octane. Let's see. I'm gonna just copy this. I'm gonna show you guys. Um, ah, meh. Just do this. We'll fit the new paradigm. There we go. Okay, just put this up at the top here. Delete everything below. Cool. Make the background black. Nice. Okay, so I'm gonna run this little action thing here. Levels check. Boop. There we go. So what this is doing is taking your range from black pixels to white pixels and is mapping this color range to it. We could probably push this down further and really like do this. So you can see there's information in there. But basically, these areas that are black become problematic. And it's the same case if you get into the blue range. Yo, Boppenheimer, how you doing? So you can see in that blue area, these are basically turning white. If these are cards, they should never go white like that. Just by the albedo values. So it should be a little bit darker just to not fully blow out like that. But yeah, you can see like if I go in and add like a levels in front here, I just kind of try and bring this up. These are going to start turning into white pixels, so we're going to try and avoid that. And then I'm just going to grab the midpoint to try and bring some information in the shadows. And now that looks kind of all right. We turn this off. See, now your scene's popping quite a bit more. And actually is glowing. Like it feels, you're feeling the warmth in it. Your shadows are still quite dark, but now I can see inside of them. What is going on? Stop it. So I can see back there now. And if you look over here, you still can't really see in here, but there's a little bit of information. So you want to basically make sure that you're able to see that information in your initial render, because you can always make it darker in post-processing if needed through your video editing and whatnot. Just something to keep in mind. I'm really excited though to see your progress once you take a pass on the Ivy. Yeah, if you want that gradient map script, if you don't want to set it up, it's just I have it on my Patreon. So extremely dark, shadowy areas are bad. Not bad. Arkham, how you doing? They're not bad, but they're also not good. Basically, you want range. Yeah, what Bray's saying. You want full range. So where it's really dark, as long as there's some information in there and it's not just a black pixel, you're golden. Because that gives you room to play around. And it's information that the better the screen is, the more it'll see. You know what I mean? So if a screen is really good and has the range and your image doesn't, it's just black there and it looks strange and artificial. And it's the same with the white pixels as well. You don't want to go so white that the pixels are literally white, because then there's no information in there. It's just white. Yeah. Shokri's posting some stuff. Let's check that out. Look at this. Look at this resolution. Is that a QR code? Nice. I see what's happening here. Very nice. Best cat ever. The extraordinary story of a slumbering princess. I mean, this looks like the New York Journal. They cover some interesting things. Know the full story, man. So these look pretty good. I know you've been working pretty hard on these. Again, watch out for the full whiteout on the pixels. Let me just copy that. Let's just bring it over and see what's happening here. Oh yeah, the other nice thing about this is it's just a layer on top, right? So you can see. You can make any adjustments below it. Yeah, Lysa, the small details are really nice, right? Yeah, so you can see there's areas that are becoming really dark in here. That feels very strange. Also, the poly count of these is really... I would just go crazy just to get that to look really good. Did you simulate these yourself? I'm assuming that's why it's like, because maybe you decimated it down. Because I think you'd want to bake a normal on top of that as well to try and help shift the direction of the normals on the lower poly geometry. They're from Marvelous, dude. Nice. Yeah, you want to. I would simulate the higher res version, right? You decimate them down, UV these, and then bake the simulated versions on top of them, and see if you get a better result on that. Because right now you're getting a really wobbly effect, so you're gonna watch out for that. Yeah. So the smaller details, very very nice. Um, I want to know the materials that are going into this. The graffiti looks pretty good on here, or like the tagging. The rust looks pretty good. Uh, are the cups? Is that right? I feel like these checkers are supposed to go down to here, like just a little bit lower down. Um, yeah, I mean, modeling wise, it's feeling pretty nice. There's quite a bit of tight edging going on here, where you, if you were to just make those just a little bit wider, it would read more realistically versus like a really sharp edge. And it's funny because like in real life, it's quite sharp, right? Bake normals as well, huh, Shokri? Are you sure the normals are pointing the right way? You try inverting the green channel just to see what happens. Um, but like when you make it that sharp in real life or in 3D, sorry, it tends to look artificial, or you can feel the geometry behind it. The papers don't usually have color on them. I'd probably remove, like, make these black and white or like desaturated, because like this even the photo looks like it's added on afterwards, whereas like that white value would just be the color of the paper. You know what I mean? Like it's like an overlay. Um, Otherwise, I mean, this is looking pretty good. Look at those bottles. Those bottles are feeling funny in the top area there. These are interesting. I know what those are. Those are UV and the textures on them. Yeah, I removed them. Oh, interesting. All right. All right then. See, this cardboard box is also very stiff right now. It feels like it needs that bend, that damage to kind of just show, because it's pretty dirty as well, right? So it looks like it's been splattered a bit. Now you want pizza, Vince? Get yourself some pizza, man. You deserve it. You deserve that pizza. Um, One thing I'm noticing that I'm doing on my temple scene. Oh, see, now I'm thinking temple. The the shadow. Oh my god, my brain. I want to say Shadow of Mordor now too, because we were talking about Forza. That's what I was working on before I went to turn 10. Shadow Colossus, thank you. Oh my god, my brain. So Colossus, everyone in chat, Colossus, Colossus. Um, I've noticed that when I'm applying these kind of drip masks or stamps in Painter, that if they're off scale from each other, the whole thing breaks. It's like, why are these like rust lines different size from these, right? Because physically they're happening at the same rate, at the same like molecular scale, so they should be occurring at the same size. Um, and the amount of like edge chipping and stuff happening up here should be spreading around the rust even further. Like the moment metal's exposed like that, rust will just go ham on it. Colossus, Colossus, Shadow of the Nanite, man. It's aluminum. Ew, ew. Aluminum doesn't rust, right? So is this rust here coming from this? Is this not aluminum? Um, the other thing that has me a little confused is what is this material and this material. I'm assuming this is aluminum and this is like a paint. Hmm. It just reads very like there's a lot of info that's happening in the normals here that I would try to not do in the texturing phase. Maybe do it in the shader and like mask between them. Paint flaking but more bubbly. Yeah, no, I can. I'm reading that. I guess it's there's a bit of a wobbliness that's occurring in here that feels a little strange. Yeah, aluminum doesn't rust, but it does corrode. So what would it just be darker, discolored? Anyways, it's really hammering down those material types and watching the bevels just to make sure everything is all good there. But dude, this is a great project for just focusing on materials and storytelling. I applied normal and height channel in Marmoset toolbag, but made the the material wobbly. From Google, when exposed to air, water, or soil, aluminum reacts with oxygen to form a thin coat of aluminum oxide that chemically bonds to the surface of the metal. The coat is characterized as a powdery white or dull grayish finish. Interesting. Okay, so I mean, that looks more like what we're seeing here. So these should probably be a little bit. So when it oxidizes, does it lose its metal attribute? Or does it just shift in roughness? Do you know what I mean? Ooh, we got reference coming in. Yeah, so it's almost white. Oh man, look at the bottom there. Can I not zoom in on that? Can I copy this? Oh, you. That's why it's used everywhere outside. Pull it into a pure ref. It's protective apparently. Indeed it is. So you see this folded metal that's down here? This is really interesting. That's the old school way of like giving you an area to like slide a piece of paper in and then get all the corners in. Yeah, so you don't think that any oxidized metal stays metallic. So when it becomes oxidized, it actually would, uh, like a fully oxidized metal surface, the metalness map would be black, is what you're saying, Zaxual. It is an interesting username. I mean, you're hitting all the notes. It's like just those. Man, this area right here feels really good. It's just getting everything on point. I'm gonna move on to the next one just so that we keep going here. Ballant, Digic Pictures. Are you anything I should remove? I mean, I think it just requires like everything that's there feels good. I actually like the bottles there. Maybe one bottle tipped over or something. But nice. This is the stragglers over here. It's really about polishing the content. Like everything is good there. It's just pushing it to its limit. Getting some sag in this. It's gotten rained on a few times. Get that look. Correcting the garbage bags so they feel better. Um, and just focusing on your materials. Yeah, I think overall it's a it's a good presentation and a nice little diorama. It just needs to be pushed. It's that last bit. So I did this scene for the ArtStation challenge, but I'd like to improve it. What do you think about it? think it looks pretty cool. Um, hmm. A lot of the areas that are dark feel like they're too dark. Like they wouldn't be that dark in if this was like a photo, you know? There's some elements that are giving us a sense of scale, but I'm still like I don't know how big that is. Like this up here feels like a single floor, but judging by the size of this walkway, this itself is like 4 or 5 floors, you know? Like the height of this is like here. Actually, that's a good that's a good point. The this like jade type material really pulls you in, but then there's nothing really to look at around it other than the jade material, like the inside area here. Like what would be in there? Is there a ceiling? Is this a second floor? Like what's inside of this, you know? Anything that could hint at that would really help. Um Over here the scale is really man, this some of this stuff is really interesting. This stuff here. I think you can see how like the wall is connecting with the wood through like this kind of darkening effect. I feel like you're missing that in some of the areas up above, and I guess it's just because it's it's way up there. There's some dragons chilling back here, which I didn't even realize were there. Those are kind of cool. I think if this was pushed back further with the atmosphere, you get more depth, and then you could really have those dragons be focused on more in this area. Because right now it feels like they're part of the pull almost. What else is going on here? I mean, there's a lot of let me check this really fast here. So we go to Photoshop. Oh, it's a wide one. So first we'll do a levels check on here. Pretty good. There's a few areas that are really dark, but yeah, there's information there. You can see too if we turn this up, or like if we do this, you can see it never really clips out. Whereas in here, like no matter what I do, there's no info there. Like I can't do anything with it. But let's cancel that. Let's look at hmm. So if I press Control Y, we can go to our grayscale view. Um, I think by default, Control Y switches to CMYK, and I just change that. So it just swaps to a grayscale and then switches the other way around. So if we grayscale, you can see there's elements that are lost because they're in the same value range as other elements. So for example, the ropes, right? I don't know if I can just isolate these ropes. Probably not. Let's try. I don't know about this. Sure. Yeah, yeah. So you can see like even the AI is having a hard time trying to like isolate it. But let's go in and we can just gonna draw on these a little bit. we'll just grab these, right? So, okay, so we got, let's say we've got these areas. I'm just going to copy and paste these and then just bring the value up in them a little bit. We'll do this, but so you can see now the rope's popping out. And if we look at the grayscale, Single, how you doing? Hello. You can see that it's like if we do this, and it's really subtle, but it gets those details to pop out more, you know? And you can really see it back here. If I just, oh wow, I'm doing this with a mouse right now. AI can't defeat us. Um, let's turn that up. And you can see how much detail that pushes, and all the information that's there is there. It just needs to be balanced. So like when you press when you go into grayscale now, it really pops out a lot more. I don't know if you're seeing that in my amazing masking skills. It's not that great. But yeah, it gets the elements to pop out a bit more, right? And if you could getting more of those elements to pop in a natural way goes very far. For like really getting the scene to shine. It gives you all that information that you're already paying for, that you already have detailed out, and helps you visualize it for the viewer a little bit more. Let's see what else we got going on here. I would say don't be shy to look at these elements here and just make them look more organic or dynamic. If you can get them to actually react in the wind in a way where they're not just hanging down, but they're actually being pushed back and forward at the same time, they become much more natural in their shape. Right now, it looks very stiff. This is doing a pretty good job. This one here. But it might be a lot of your temperatures as well. So if let's just delete all those and we'll just, I'll go to filter and then we'll do the camera raw filter. We'll do this really quick and then I'm going to blast through the rest of the stuff that's going on in the critiques channel. So we turn the temperature to like a cooler version. You guys have seen me do this before. You see all of a sudden it feels more, I don't know how you would explain that, but it feels more natural because like a lot of the times you get a blue sky and the blue sky kind of fills your ambient with that blue, right? So if you can mask this and then put that blue where there's no sun, you get a feels morning instead of afternoon. Yeah, I feel that as well. You'll get a much more kind of natural feel to it, and it's a balance for sure. You can probably do this in Unreal just by like controlling what's in shadow or in your mid and like lower ranges in post and giving them a bit of a bluish tint. A proper ray trace scene or Lumen is going to give you those blues as well. But yeah, I think that does a lot actually. Anyways, I'm going to move on, make sure we get to the rest of these people, and then I'll show you where I'm at, and then I will get out of here. Omar, I feel I'm quite done with this, but I'm wondering if anything feels off and still needs fixing. Looking mainly for composition lighting advice, but I'm open to criticism for other aspects. Let's check it out. Ooh, this is feeling pretty good. So compositionally, this feels pretty nice. Scale feels a little. Scale's okay, I think. It it feels strange, but it's all consistently strange, so it works. Do you know what I mean? Um, this composition. So this one, I actually like this one more. And what I would say about this shot is you can see in your shadows here, you're getting information, but your shadows here are very dark. Single, I'm glad you're liking the stream. Oh, dude, I'm getting that weird nose itch thing. The dreaded nose hair, probably. So, if we do a levels check here, you can see your shadows here, very dark, very, very dark. Getting some ambient color in them, getting into this range, you're gonna get a much more natural feel. You can see it's also they're really dark on this side as well. These guys feel a little small, especially for the size of the ripples and whatnot. The scale of the water feels a little strange to me. But let's look at it a little bit more here. See, this is really interesting. It's just dark, right? And I don't think anything would be this dark if it was a photo, for example. But I like this shot more than this one. So if you had this look going on with this, that would be super nice. It's just compositionally, this one's really strong. I'm not sure why the sun is so. Is that the sun, or is it a moon? Either way, it's very soft. Like it, even if it was blurred out, it wouldn't be soft in this way. I guess is the way to say it. It's behind the clouds, yes, but even so, it feels strange. Like it feels artificial. But this area right here and this area, bring that quality to this area and it would be really good. And I think the scale of your water is feeling strange, the way the ripples are. Clean those up a bit. Maybe get some trees out here in the back just to kind of fill that in so that you understand that it's the edge of the oasis. Yeah, the ripples are very large. Yeah, behind some clouds would have some sharps. I would definitely don't look at the sun behind clouds even, but look at some reference, some sun reference for sure. But a really cool scene. You don't see much work like this. I think the last time I saw some stuff that was kind of in this tone was Forceling's temple scene when he was doing like the insanely large pillar. All right, Gray Bald Eagle, let's go. Where are you at? Community, there you go. My assignment for university just needs some advice on lighting and more assets to pad the scene. It's not complete yet. Any critique is much appreciated. Okay. This is really good. Ooh, those candles look pretty cool. So remember those candles, like think about where the light sources are on them. This what is this? This glass, this colored glass. We'll go with that. Hey, no problem, Mara. I hope that helps. Stained glass, thank you. Colored glass, stained glass, yes. Is brighter than the sky. It's going to be consistent with the brightness of the sky, so keep that in mind. Man, those candles look really good. What is that right there? I'm going in. We're going in, guys. Just gonna paste that here. Invert that. Turn this on. Okay, so you can see your values are getting a little dark. There's info though. It's there. Hit OK on that. We'll just turn this off. So you can see if I do this. It's interesting. You can have a brighter scene and it's still dark. You know? Yeah, they look like vases. So These look really shiny, and so does the ground. Be careful on how much you're displacing the ground here. I don't know if these are placed or if that's a displaced like mesh, or those look like they're placed. But it also looks like a material that's stretching. Watch out for this type of stuff. I wouldn't push them this far, but they can still be disjointed. Like it looks like it was made in Designer and then applied. Managing to watch a little while I'm in work. Oh, dude, crazy. Okay, cool. So, to fill this space, the best way to pad a scene with props, don't think about it as padding it to make it more busy or add more detail or interest. Think about the location. Use reference, right? So if this is a church, is this the main walkway, or is this like, is there supposed to be pews here, like seats? Where did those go? Is there things that were supposed to hold the candles up originally? Are those like off to the side now, not used anymore? There's all these details that existed previously. Like the ceiling's gone. Where did all those pieces go? Did they fall to the ground? Where's the chandeliers? If there were chandeliers, did those fall? You know, those are elements that you can add to draw focus, to fill the scene out more and help rationalize and understand what the space is. Plant life also, yeah. If depending on where this is at, if it's quite overgrown, there's a little plant here. There's a skeleton with a sword through him, I think. Yeah, the other thing I would look out for is think about your roughness values on the surface of things. If it's wet, if it's dry, if it's chalky, you know, like super dry, like what's the roughness look like on those? Because right now everything looks a little wet. Also, this wall feels a bit flat. This wall looks flipped. The normal on this wall looks flipped, actually. You can see there's a little bit of a highlight here. And on the top here, it's dark. Unless that's the intention, I would go into your normal map, take the green channel, just invert it. That'll probably fix this problem. It's probably, if you created this texture or you downloaded it, it's OpenGL, and you need to make it DirectX if this is an Unreal. And you can do that just by flipping the green channel. If you need to test it, you can actually do that in Unreal directly. You just manually go and search in the texture. Actually, we're getting close to the end of the stream, so I'm going to start Unreal up. And I can show you that when we get to it. But yeah, hopefully that helps. I'll show you how to flip the green channel in Unreal. OpenGL greater than DirectX. Ha, Exile. Ha. Grizzlewood. Let's go. Hey, I don't have any recent renders of this, but I've been updating Sketchfab textures as I work on it. Let's go. Holy Sketchfab, you need a dark mode. Oh, dude, this is cool. So the range that you're sticking inside of is pretty interesting. I kind of want to see the highlights pushed a little further up. Made in Designer? Okay. Let me see your levels here. I do like the washed out look, or like the washed look. No, come on. I don't know. This might be more of a personal preference. So good. I love that with those boots you can get away with wearing shorts all year. It's true. I mean, this looks pretty sick. It almost looks like a concept, man. It looks like you're doing a cell shade as well. That's very subtle. And it looks like you're doing it just to outline. Wow, dude, this area, I'm digging that. Really sick. Really sick. But it looks awesome. You know what's really interesting is with the eye positioning and stuff, I automatically position the character like this. So it's like this foot is pointing towards me. So intriguing. Yeah, I don't have too much to say on it. I think it's really consistent, and I like the way that you're texturing it. My personal preference is to push the highlights a little bit further, but I don't know. Maybe there's a way to control the bloom so that you can get a little bit of bloom off of these highlights without having to go too far. And that's just a post pass. I would love to see these flowing. I think it would be sick. Yeah, I'm getting there. I think if you haven't posted yet, I don't think I'm gonna get to you. Um, Laura B, I'm gonna update you next. But let's take a look. Just gonna kind of go through these last few here. As it's unlit, that wouldn't work, right? No, that would not work. You could do it in Photoshop after. I think it would pop a bit. Yeah. Anyways, later. Later. Laura B. Okay, hello. I would love some feedback, critiques on my latest portfolio piece. I'm pretty new to Discord, so if this is not the place for the finished pieces, oh, you're totally fine. Um, this is looking pretty cool. So the final, oh nice, haven't seen that in a while. The rivets, I'm really curious how you got the smaller details in there. Man, I I appreciate your honesty for sticking to the roots of this plane because a lot of people avoid that, which I totally understand. It's flipped on one side. Oh no, Exile. The call out. Yeah, you can't change history. You painted those normals in Substance Painter? Holy cow, okay. Yeah, so you just went in and painted all of those. Ooh, look at that. So nice job on showing the wireframe. It's quite detailed. I'm not sure if it's is it flipped? Man, it's so hard to tell. It is flipped on one side. Ooh. Okay, so this is really cool to see this. I I think this is fine. I was gonna say like I kind of want to see the wireframe on its own, but I think what I really want to see is how you're laying it all out. The only thing I would say that's kind of thrown me off, ooh, that roughness. Oh my gosh. When the light goes across it, there's some nice subtle details in there. Don't forget detail normals, and because you're working on that this type of large surfaces, that not only can you do detail normals, but you could do detail roughness, which is just roughness maps and detail normals. They can be roughness and normals that are tiling really high, and then you can paint in where they show up, right? With masks and whatnot, if you want to push it that much further. But that being said, I mean, it looks pretty cool. I don't know what the texture res is. Really intriguing. I would like to see a little bit more aging on it. 4K? Yeah, I would just say 4K in here somewhere. A lot of the times nowadays we would add this riveting through like strips of geometry and then just a tileable decal, uh, like mesh decal. You know what I think I would do in the roughness is give it directionality in like it flying a lot, right? And showing the wear of just the turbulence of wind affecting the surface of the paint on a roughness level. I think that would add a whole lot. Doesn't have to be damaged or anything. Just showing, some bug splats. Yes. Yeah, you know what's up. All right. We got I always wonder, is it Helena or Helena? Never know, man. You never know. But I would love some feedback on this. Work in progress. Um, if you got any cool ideas for poses and presentation, that'd be absolutely lovely too. The last picture was a test pose with different hairstyle. But if you got any ideas, feedback, anything goes. Much appreciated. Let's see here. So love the face. The lips are really nice. Like, and that the cut on the cheek. The hair looks really good as well. I would, if you can, I would contact Grandma Reloaded, Helena, who posted very early on. I think the first person who posted, and figure out what's going on with their hair with them if you can, because it looked like it was heavily dithered. Some nice materials here. The detail normal here in the this type of surface feels like it's tiling less than it should be. Like feels like it's tiling maybe too much. This consistency here is feeling pretty good. So like maybe this needs a tile more and this needs a tile less. Yeah, this feels good as well. Um, oh, I love the gradient in the surface, the material there. I can't tell what that material is. It kind of looks a little shiny, or like reflective maybe. It's quite interesting. And as far as poses go, that's a tough one. Um, there's some more classic poses like overall it is very clean. Yeah, it needs that kind of aged pass. You're getting a little bit of that on this upper area here, but it could use a little bit more like connection between the elements in how they interact with each other and how stuff discolors over time. It's supposed to be burlap-ish. Oh yeah, that's going to be really the roughness on that's going to be quite high. And maybe some type of Fresnel in the way that the shader is set up. Anyways, pose wise, so the character looks really cool other than it needs kind of some aging. Um, Posing wise, you could do the standing guard. You could do um, you could do the pose where she's leaning down, and then getting ready to pull a sword out or something. That could be really cool. Where they step back with one foot because when they pull that sword out, they're gonna come forward and just swing. You could do a Spider-Man pose. I mean, I think that would be kind of cool. um, what else could you do? You could have her pulling a sword out of a stone. I think that would be awesome, just because. So, not to add more work on you, but if she had a helmet and she was pulling it up, or she had a helmet in her arm and she's just standing there, like under her arm, I think that would be pretty cool. Anyways, otherwise, I would say this is looking really good. It's definitely more of like working on the materials here and getting them like polished up to the level that you have like for the upper part of the body, and then getting some interesting poses. Invincible pose, that could be pretty cool. And yeah, I like the darker hair. All right. We got two more and then we are done. No, thank you. I appreciate you posting your work. Let's take a look at this. This looks dope. This is well executed. Um, I think this area is probably the only area that's a little strange, just how this connects. But the execution of all of the surfaces, a little bit of stretching here, and some stretching here. Maybe some bake issues here. I'm not sure if this is what's causing it, but yeah, I see a little bit there as well. But otherwise, it's just very, very clean. Like that is this area here. That's super cool looking. It has a very clean, simple look with some age, and that in itself looks really good to me. I would just look into this type of information and like how pieces connect, and see if you can add another layer of something that helps add some character or age to the surfaces. Like how is this connected to this? Is it welded on? How is the like? Did they melt metal and you know? What is this made out of? Is it a metal? Is it a stone? That type of those types of information, and I think it's metal, but those types of information that's going to be key. Really nice. And then we've got Sintel, last one on here, and then we'll look at what I've been up to, and then we'll get out of here. As a programmer, I appreciate how functional that teapot is. Yeah. So this looks pretty awesome. The attention to detail is really nice. There's some darker values that are happening in the wood that I feel like are distracting from like or hard to explain what they are. Your ambient occlusion's very dark. Maybe in these areas it'd be a bit brighter. Like this is good ambient occlusion for, well, there's some weird issues happening in here. But this is good ambient occlusion for helping you generate maps when you're texturing in Substance Painter. But when it comes to actual ambient occlusion in Engine, it's usually pretty bright other than the areas where it starts to build up, like in here. And like the little like swinging handles here. It's strange that those are so bright, for example. Roughness wise, this checks out. I like how it becomes more rough near the top and not as rough near the bottom. It still would have some information in there, but I like the idea that you're going with there. The other thing I would mention is the resolution of the wood grain in the direction that's going in. It's strange that it's always up and down here, and then up and down here as well. Like, I feel like this would be maybe a separate piece, even with the grain going either a different direction, or that grain should be not as strong and maybe tiling a little less or a little more, I mean, just so that the resolution kind of holds up. Everything's quite shiny, and maybe it's because there's a lacquer on it. If this is in Unreal, no, it's a Marmoset Toolbag. I think Marmoset Toolbag also has a shader that is involving what is it called? Clear coat, which is basically a double specular pass. So you can have two normal maps affecting each other. You can have quite a smooth layer so that you have specular on the top surface showing a really smooth surface, and then a specular for the grooves of the wood under the gloss. That can give you quite a different look. Marmoset 4 has clear coat. Marmoset 3 does not, if I remember correct. Yeah, I think with Marmo 3, you have to buy that shader third party. Marmo 4, I think, has it built in. I think you're right, Thomas. But it's cool. It's a cool asset. It's very, I feel like I'm looking at some Resident Evil stuff when I see stuff like this. Was there any? Oh, there was a wireframe as well. That's good. Some UVs, very nice. Ooh, animated as well. Yo, let's go. Whoa, there's a lot of hands in there. What the heck's going on? I clearly know not a lot about that clock, but this looks great. I would just either in the future address the things I was talking about, or if you're planning to go back, you can. Those are some pretty quick fixes. But yeah, cool, cool. All right, you guys posted a lot of stuff. We just finished up. I can show you what I've been up to. So I put, where is it at here? Viewport. I put this together. This is all the pieces with their normals and all their masks baked out. I'll get the Substance Painter file out too, so you can see. And I've constructed it together inside of a blueprint. As you can see, also down here, I'm just using this piece again on the inside. Sintel, hey, no problem, man. Thank you for posting your work as well. I gave you the community tag also. So this is all here now. I've got all these details in. It's looking pretty cool. I can show you. This is what the file looks like. It's got all of the, if I bring this in, we've got all the parts in here, right? Let me just turn all these off and we'll just look at one of them, for example. And like I'm just, oh, nice. Apparently that's gold. That's good to know. And our moss mask in here. I just went in, got it all kind of set up. Drip mask. So this is where I was talking about the drips, where the scale is a little wonky. But yeah, once all these are in, you can see the drips here are much larger than these ones. I think I need to go back and just actually just paint those larger. So if we look at it, I'm just looking at base color. And so when I export these out, I'm actually exporting out 3 maps for each of those pieces, bringing them all in here, constructing the blueprint, and then this is kind of what it looks like in the scene so far. Let me just hide that. We'll hide all these guys here. It's looking, it's getting there. But yeah, there's a ways to go. And now that we've solved how this is all going to work and how how the shader works, all these details, we can go in and start tuning things and building the other stuff. I think what I want to start looking at next is blocking out the major elements around this altar. And then from there, we push for maybe some ivy. Because I think doing an ivy kit will be pretty cool. And I can kind of highlight how that's all working. Thank you. It's Exile thinks it looks okayish. Thanks, man. I really appreciate the the positive feedback. I'm very happy with this though. There's a lot of work that went into like trying to figure out how this is all going to happen. And now that we have this, we can, continue onward and figure out what we do for the rest of the surfaces. It's nice that we've sculpted all of these little pieces out because we can take these pieces. I know you're kidding, Exile. It's okay. We can take all these pieces and create our trim sheets out of them. We can create, there's so many things we can do now that we've sculpted all these little parts. Oh, it is no problem, Curious. I'm actually in the middle of planning out the actual YouTube video for the shader. So I'm going to do a video that explains this shader. So if I scroll in here, this shader, I'll talk about how it's all set up, how it works with the gold and the moss, and how the stone works. Here's the stone. Here's the gold. The gold's quite simple. And the, where are we at here? And the moss. And then how those are all working. And the moss I actually just got offline, so from textures, it's textures.com. Yeah. So yeah, we will be I'll be doing a video on how this all works and how I set up all these maps, how these have their names on them, how we blend between different materials using these masks, and how to bring in all of your maps and get control over them. So that you can reuse this for every piece. You can see that shader has actually just been replicated as instances, and then all these maps are just applied. I exported these types of things. Oh yeah, and if you need to flip your normals, I almost forgot that. So if this is your normal map and you need to flip the green channel, just type in search green, and there's a flip green channel. You click that, and now it's the other way. So if your normal looks wrong, you just flip the green. But cool. Okay. I need to get out of here. It's late. It is late, but my gosh, it was so fun to stream. It's been a while. It's been a long while. Yeah, it was a good stream. Thank you everyone for sharing your work. Really nice stuff. And I'll see you guys in the Discord. And if you're new here, you can join the Discord here. Have a good evening and enjoy your Friday tomorrow. It's going to be nice. All right. See you guys. Bye.